Hello to everybody, our dear subscribers. FutureTrend channel is glad to welcome all of you, and today we present our report on regarding our vision of how to trade major currencies in the world financial markets for the date of 7th of March 2019. Today is a really very important day for the euro currency, for the single currency, for the euro dollar, as well as some other euro crosses. Today is the day of European Central Bank monetary policy rate decision, and taking that into account, let's discuss, let's evaluate the current state of the euro currency, and so let's evaluate the circumstances that could follow the final verdict of the European Central Bank. So, first of all, at 13:30, the European, at 12:45 Greenwich time, it will be released the European Central Bank rate decision as well as accompanying monetary policy statement. Probably not this kind of event will be important for today. For today, probably it will be much more important the following ECB press conference that should be conducted by the European Central Bank President Mr. Mario Draghi. So, we should understand that first of all there is one kind of problem for the euro kind of bears. That's that the market already priced in some sort of negativity regarding the future monetary policy of the European Central Bank, taking into account the last portion of much weaker, probably much weaker than expected, anyway, weaker economic indicators that came for the last time from the Eurozone. In this respect, it will be really very crucial how the European Central Bank President will evaluate the current state of the European economy and what kind of alternatives he could propose to combat this kind of economic weakness. And of course there is, for example, for sure we should put for a long time away, we should put away the kind of fast interest rate increase from the part of European Central Bank in 2019. Probably the first one could be in 2020 at best, but at the same time we should really concentrate our attention on a kind of alternatives the European Central Bank will propose how to resolve the current problems with economy in the Eurozone. And in this respect, probably the so-called cheap, longer-term kind of loans for the European banks will be followed from the European Central Bank. And anyway, in case of, let's say, more neutral view expressed by the ECB today, the rebound of the euro dollar could be really very strong. For example, if the European Central Bank tell that not everything is so bad with the European economy, and projections regarding the economic growth in the Eurozone as well as inflation expectations will be lowered not so much than the market is expecting at the moment, and if, for example, the European Central Bank will not provide so-called low rates long-term loans for the European banks in the form to combat the current weakness, probably in this case we should see a kind of strong euro currency potential to the upside. From this respect, we don't expect, for example, that the euro dollar today will be much lower from current levels. Probably in case of strong incline regarding to do something to take some kind of stronger measures to affect the economic weakness in the Eurozone, only then we could see a real dip, for example, in the euro currency to the level of 112.15, the lows of 2018 we witnessed in November. Anyway, everything could happen, and we should be ready for everything. Also taking into account the current strength of the United States currency and the current difference in the monetary policy approach, the difference between the European Central Bank and the Fed, for example. What else regarding some other currencies? Let's analyze, for example, another one, euro crosses, which is euro yen, where we, by the way, take a kind of long position at 126.20 with a stop, very tight one, at 125.85. Here it is. Here we should understand, of course, we are relying on the possible rebound in the price of the euro in case of more neutral view expressed by the European Central Bank President. But also we suggest that sooner or later, taking into account the bullish kind of trend in the euro yen, probably we could see some higher levels, first of all because we're still trading not far from its immediate kind of bullish trend line. Overall, the situation still remains quite positive for the euro yen, technically speaking, and we suggest that now it's time to test the so-called moving average 200 daily line located at 128.10, but more important, of course, will be the so-called longer term bearish trend line that's located around 113.15. Dollar yen and as well as some other yen crosses at the moment is affected by the so-called risk of evasion because of some problems, new arised kind of problems between North Korea and the United States, and we should understand that. And also the Swiss franc is not the Swiss franc is also looking a little bit stronger. But anyway, this kind of 10-15 kind of bips is nothing to say about the trend reversal, for example, in the price of the dollar Swiss. Euro Swiss is really very stable at the moment. It's really nothing to say about this type of currency. And also the Australian dollar continue to look quite weak at the moment because of the last portion of economic numbers coming from Australia in the form of lower than expected gross domestic product and also retail sales numbers. This night was worse than expected, 0.1% comparing to market's expectations of 0.3%. All in all, the Australian dollar is ready to test the psychological important level of 0.70, and we should understand that at the moment the trend in the Australian dollar is at the moment is really and clearly to the south, is to the weaker side. As regarding New Zealand dollar, for example, probably not everything is so bad. We're still trading above 66.70, 66.80, the so-called uptrend line in the currency. Also, there is a pivotal support area in the form of the support of 0.67. Cable, at the moment everything is in the arms of the British Parliament. It will be interesting to, by the way, to tell some words about the Reuters poll. The Reuters poll told today that in case of Brexit no deal, the pound could fall as much as 120. We should understand how it's problematic this kind of decision. In case of a real kind of no deal, we should understand that the pound will be really very weak, and will be a victim of such kind of situation, and of course the weakness will be followed. At the same time, we are seeing the signs of desire of market participants to see a so-called Brexit deal, and their kind of a desire to see the cable higher from local levels, and that should further prop up the currency at the moment. As regarding the position taken, we suggest to buy the cable on any kind of weakness to the moving average 200 daily line that at the moment is located around the psychologically important level of 130. So at the moment, any kind of dip in the price of cable closer to the so-called uptrend line, that's located around 129.50, 129.60, and also here, not far from that level, is located moving average 200 daily line 129.88 at the moment. So any kind of weakness in the price of the cable at the moment closer to that level should give you an opportunity to buy the pair. But of course, next week will be really very crucial for the pound. We continue to suggest that it's not time to buy the cable right now. Probably the early part of next week we could see slightly low levels in the price of the cable, for example, the price of the cable. As regarding ruble, ruble is a little bit lower at the moment. The ruble itself against the euro and the dollar. Here is nothing to change. At the moment we still suggest that Russian ruble crosses still have some kind of opportunity to slightly improve its bullish perspectives, and in the coming days we could see slightly higher levels for both of the pairs, like dollar ruble, for example, or the euro ruble. And there's some words about the Canadian dollar, which is a driving force at the moment because of its weakness, the weakness of the Canadian dollar. Despite of strength of the energy prices, here the situation is under the pressure of political instability in Canada, and also because of last decision of the Bank of Canada. Because, as you know, yesterday the Bank of Canada told that it will be really very hard to find any kind of supports for the future interest rate rises. So, of course, we saw, as a result, we saw another portion of Canadian dollar weakness during previous trading session. And what else? Here, at the moment, the situation is that the Canadian dollar should continue to trade to the weaker side. That means that dollar Canada and some other Canadian dollar crosses should go to the north. And we suggest that any kind of pullbacks lower should be a kind of buying opportunity for the Canadian dollar. Let's see our block of commodity currency strategy. At the moment we prefer to stand aside in the Canadian dollar after yesterday's kind of mistaken position. Anyway, we lost only 30 pips, so nothing to change. We're still waiting for a kind of real kind of trend. Now the trend in the Canadian dollar is weaker Canada. So use any kind of pullbacks in the dollar Canada to buy the pair. Thank you. Probably today, in case of real kind of changes, real kind of fluctuations, as a result of today's European Central Bank decision, we will come with a new, fresh update of the euro crosses and euro dollar. Thank you. Take care and bye bye for now. It was your FutureTrend channel.